Hello everybody, this is ButteryGreg again, and I'm back with game number 2 between Team LgNLuxury and Complexity Academy's Goswser. This is game number 2 in the match between these two teams for ESEA Week 1, and currently Goswser leads the series 1-0, so we're going to see if Luxury can bring it back in game number 2 here, or if Goswser is going to take the win for his team. This is going to be a PvZ on Antiga Shipyards, and spawning over here on the right side is Goswser as the red Zerg, and his opponent on the left side is going to be Luxury as the purple Protoss. Last game we saw Luxury go for what I think is kind of a little bit of a strange gateway sort of timing attack that didn't quite work out. He was massing zealots, but Goswser was able to scout it and shut it down with a large number of spine crawlers and zerglings. So we will see what Luxury decides to do this game and how Goswser deals with it. Looks like Luxury is going with a pylon at the bottom of his ramp. This could be for a Forge First build, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I've never seen a player put the pylon back here. Usually you'll see it farther forward or right up against the ramp over here. So we'll see exactly how he decides to play this. Meanwhile, Goswser is going for what looks like a 14 gas 14 pool, so we'll see a speedling opening out of him. I keep forgetting that up, of course. I don't want you guys to see how long the replay is. So we see Goswser going for a speedling expand against another Forge First build. He has put the Forge up against the ramp, and then he'll put the Nexus here, and I imagine it's going to wall against the Nexus pretty exactly. So in the end, this is going to look fine. It just looks a little weird with the pylon on this side before the Nexus has been made. There goes Goswser's spawning pool, so this is, of course, this is a pretty common PvZ opener. It's really good for Zerg to do this build because it gives them a lot of map control early. It allows them to do a lot of scouting. It allows them to put a lot of pressure on their opponent as well. If Protoss is not really paying attention, he can mess up with his wall off or have his units in the wrong place, and Speedlings can just slip into the base and end the game. So let's see here. Luxury looks like he's saving up. He's going to throw down his Nexus in a moment here on 17 supply. Goswser. This opening does require one base for a little bit. We're not going to see Goswser get an expansion for at least a minute. He's going to get his queen. He's got to make a couple of zerglings. He's going to get speed. So only after he does all of this and establishes map control and determines what his opponent is doing will he transition into getting his expansion. Luxury's pretty much finished his build. He's got the cannon down, he's got the gateway down, his Nexus is almost halfway. So he's just going to start making probes. We'll see him get his gas geysers again pretty shortly here. But he's just going to be making only probes for quite some time. Looks like Goswser's thrown down his hatchery. Pretty normal timing here, 4 minutes with the speedling expand, right as the lings move out to get some map control and get an idea of what your opponent's doing. Looks like he's going to send 3 to the left side. I guess he believes that's probably the best estimate of where Luxury is, and he's going to send 1 to the middle to hold this watchtower so that he can see any early attacks coming. Like, for instance, if Luxury had decided to open with sort of a 2-gate zealot pressure build, he would have his zealots moving out across the map already to try to, just 1 or 2 zealots, but they'd be moving out to try to pressure this expansion somewhat and force a cancel. So it's good to have this ling on the tower so he can get some vision, and he could recall his zerglings if he needed to. He's going to continue scouting. He's finally going to get to the bottom of the map here, and he's going to find Luxury's base. However, Luxury has 2 cannons in place already, so these zerglings aren't going to be able to get in here and do any damage despite having speed. Here comes the worker transfer. Goswser almost goes for it, but he sees the second cannon and gets out, only taking 1 hit. I like what Luxury's doing back here. He's got a pretty good maze here. A lot of people call this SimCity, where he's got a lot of pathing blocking going on behind the minerals and in front of the Nexus so that all the units have to run through this narrow channel right here, which allows him to attack them with the cannons, and once he gets his army out, he'll be able to put some zealots here and some sentries in the same position and give him really good control over what gets into his base. Meanwhile, Goswser's got both of his queens out. He's begun mining it as natural. He has put drones back on gas in his main, so it looks like he's going to be beginning to tech. We'll see if he goes for a layer next or if he's going to throw down a Roach Warren in a little bit. Probably going to go layer tech at this point because he's gotten his map control. He doesn't need to cheese, of course. He can just play a standard macro game. So with his map control and his gas income, he's going to go layer, and he's probably going to switch into Mutalisks and Infestors like we saw last game. I think going Mutalisks in ZVP is very powerful, especially when the Protoss player doesn't scout it. We see Luxury, looks like he's going for roughly the same kind of build as last time. He's got +1 attack on the way. He has supply blocked for a moment here. That's a little bit disconcerting. He only has 1 gateway at the moment. but he's going to start making the additional gateways inside his base at the same time. He's got 3 more, he's going to throw down a pylon, and he's going to get 3 more after that, bringing his total to 7 gateways. Warp gate tech's about halfway done, which if you're 4 gating, normally your last gateways go down when your warp gate tech's about halfway done. So it's interesting how this is sort of a 2-base version of a 4-gate, 7-gate. He's going to move out with his early zealots here, try to do a little bit of poking. But this could be bad because it kind of alerts Goswser to there being some aggression. So this is going to prompt Goswser to get some defenses. He's already got some spine crawlers going down. Wow, he's got 3 already. That's kind of surprising. But he can start making some Zerglings. He's got 12 on the way. He's going to get his defenses down. So I think LgNLuxury's kind of given away his strategy here. If he were doing this just to distract Goswser and weren't going to follow it up with a massive gateway push, I'd be pretty excited about it because it's a good build to force him to not make drones. But if he does transition this into a strong gateway attack, then he's kind of alerted Goswser, and Goswser's going to be able to use his production to defend it no problem. He's got spine crawlers, he's got Zerglings, so I don't think he's going to have too much trouble defending a large attack in the near future. However, it looks like LgNLuxury has not added on any extra gateways. He's only on 4. He's continuing to get his upgrades. He's added gas at his natural, and he's just continuing to improve his economy. He only has 2 mining from this gas geyser. It's a little surprising. I'm sure he'll notice in a moment. The money is starting to stockpile, so he's gonna have to do something soon. He either needs more gateways or he needs a Stargate very soon if he wants to continue his pressure. Looks like Goswser's going to go for a counterattack. There's a nice ball of sentries massed up here, but there are no zealots, which is a little bit concerning for me because although sentries can deny Zerglings from running past, they can't kill Zerglings very effectively, which means Goswser could easily take this number of Zerglings and just focus on this Nexus and kill it, which would be very, very unfortunate, just because the sentry DPS is so low. He might not lose many probes, but he could easily lose a couple of buildings. LgNLuxury finishes Hallucinate, so he's going to start scouting with this double Phoenix here. 2 Phoenixes are generally better than 1 because if your opponent has some air defense, it can easily pick off 1 hallucinated Phoenix, but it'll have trouble sniping both of them. At the same time, Goswser's taking his 3rd base. This is an excellent follow-up to the build he's been doing so far. He's really getting his economy going, so he's just going to continue with the same thing. Looks like Goswser's going to go for a Hydralisk Den. He's already got an Infestation Pit down, and he's got his Pathogen Glands upgrade almost ready, but something has prompted him to switch into Hydralisks. And I'm not sure if this is a reaction to the Scouting Phoenixes, or if he is doing this because he believes that LgNLuxury is massing gateway units. So Hydralisks are very, very good against Zealots and Sentries and Stalkers, but of course they're primarily used as anti-air units. So this is kind of a win-win for him to do this because LgNLuxury isn't getting Colossus. If LgNLuxury were getting Colossus, then it would be very bad for him to go mass Hydralisk. But since the only tech right now is his Templar Archives on the way, looks like Hydralisk won't be the worst choice. Of course, Psystorm is very effective against Hydralisks, but it does require 2 Psystorms to kill Hydralisk because they have 80 hit points and Psystorm only does 80 damage. But in the time that it takes for it to do all of its damage, Hydralisk will regenerate 1 hit point, so they survive with 1 hit point. Goswser's 3rd goes up here. He's doing a great job containing with these Zerglings. He's just checking from time to time. He hasn't really engaged in any major battles, but he's been able to prevent LgNLuxury from taking his 3rd here as well. So he's beginning to pull ahead in economy as he's getting to that sort of 3-base status. This Overseer is going to get up in here and he's going to see everything. He sees Twilight Council. He saw the Templar Archives as well with Storm on the way, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Goswser do a little bit of a tech switch now. He's not going to focus on Hydras at all. We see he's going Infestors and he's gone back to Roaches. This Hydralisk Den may have just been a little bit of a panic about those Phoenix because he's totally switched away from it. Also, he's begun working on these backdoor rocks. I was confused for a moment there because it looked like he was attacking and the rocks were still full health, but the health bar was just overlapping on a little Zerglings there. Goswser's got a bunch of Roaches done. He's got +2 armor on the way, but they don't have any attack upgrades, so he's probably going to want at least +1 attack before he commits to making these Roaches. This is interesting. He's taken down these backdoor rocks. It looks like he's going to go for a 4th base right here. So he's going to remove these rocks so that he has easy accessibility from his base. Because Protoss coming up from the south over here is easily just going to follow this way and then get up into the 3rd. So he needs to take out those rocks to be able to defend it well himself. Looks like LgNLuxury is finally getting his 3rd base down. This is not too late. Terribly. This is not terribly late at all. Actually, 12 minutes is a great time to expand. Looks like this has been building for about 40 seconds. So he's maybe a minute late, depending on how you cut it. He's in a pretty good position with these High Templar and largely gateway-based army. He's going to do very well against Roach Ling, but I would personally be a little bit worried about this many infestors because fungal growth is just excellent against most of these units. It's going to lock them in place. It's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to enable his army to do damage because it locks them in place, and fungal growth does no friendly fire. Looks like Goswser's going to move out with his Roach Ling force here. I imagine he's going to be going for these backdoor rocks again, so LgNLuxury is going to be slightly out of position, but not too far. He'll easily be able to run up and defend his third should Goswser go for it, because his pylon, of course, is going to spot that. But Goswser's going to attack into the front, it seems, and those Zerglings get picked off really quickly, and it looks like Roaches are going to pull back for a little bit. I'm not sure if Goswser is just waiting for his infestors to get here and then he's going to go for it, or if well, we'll see what happens here. Those force fields are kind of haphazardly strewn down. Excellent feedback here, pulling down 4 of his infestors, and I think that's a huge advantage for LgNLuxury right there. Big Side Storm goes down on one group of Roaches. His army is a little bit split right now. He's got another huge Side Storm on this ball of Roaches. So Immortal's going to help do some serious damage, but I'm just not sure LgNLuxury has enough units. He's defending really well. He does manage to force Goswser to retreat a bit, but it was looking pretty scary for a moment there. He really relied on these force fields to be able to force back those Roaches, keep him from engaging, because Goswser definitely outnumbered him. And even after that battle, Goswser still has a 40 supply lead, which is not very good for LgNLuxury. Looks like Goswser has gotten his Hive Tech up, and he's starting to switch into Broodlords. He's got a bunch of Corruptors on the way, he's got the Greater Spire on the way, so in a couple of minutes here, we are going to see some Broodlords come out. LgNLuxury has a lot of Blink Stalkers, and he's got some High Templar and some Archons, but I would really like to see him get some Void Rays. I'm not sure that he's been doing the best job of scouting so far this game. Maybe we'll see a Hallucinated Phoenix pop up here, but he needs to know these Broodlords are coming, and at the moment, he has no indication. See Goswser throwing down a bunch more Spine Crawlers at the front here. I think this is just to free up supply, pretty much. He's got a lot of drones, so he's going to grab some Spine Crawlers, improve his defenses slightly, and allow him to restructure so that he can make more army units. These Corruptors are misrallied horribly. LgNLuxury's going to get a bunch of free Corruptor kills right here. Picks up 1, 2, 3 Corruptors. He's going to blink forward, he should do it. He gets the 4th Corruptor without a blink, very nice. He does not have an Observer though, so he's unable to pick off any of these creep tumors. In PvZ, or in any race versus Zerg, it's really important to control the creep spread because the Zerg army gets such a big movement advantage on it. And we see the first Broodlords are beginning to morph. I don't know if LgNLuxury has enough anti-air to deal with Broodlords. This could be a serious problem. With this many Spine Crawlers, should they engage right here, these Broodlords are going to be extremely well protected. Even if the Blink Stalkers were to move forward to try to focus down the Broodlords, they're going to take massive losses from this many Spine Crawlers. Ooh, he just decided to kill one of his own Roaches. He must have been a little bit unhappy with that Roach's performance. He's actually doing this to kill off supply. I'm poking fun, but he's attacking his own units to kill off supply. So it looks like LgNLuxury's gonna poke forward. He doesn't really do any damage, but he does lose 2 Zealots. Not a huge deal. More Broodlords are morphing in. He's got 3 more on the way. He's got some ground upgrades, and he's got missile attacks level 2 on the way. I was confused if that was air attacks or not. LgNLuxury's playing a little risky here. He's gonna go for this gold base that's contested in the middle. This is tough, because if he were to lose this big battle, Goswser's going to have a free kill on this base. So I'm not sure I agree with this decision. I would go for a much safer expansion. But Broodlords are come out unprotected. LgNLuxury gets a huge blink, picks off 2 Broodlords, and he's able to throw down a massive Side Storm on this army back here. He really needs another blink to try to take out these Broodlords in the back. But Goswser is just... he's losing a ton of units, but he's doing a good bit of damage, it seems. He's down to 1 Immortal. The Broodlords are still alive. I think this is the biggest deal for Goswser right now. Broodlords are still alive. Meanwhile, Goswser's remaxing with a shitload of Hydralisks. He's got 23 in production. So this is going to be a pretty even trade. He might even lose these Broodlords because he doesn't have very many units, but Hydralisks are going to stream in here in about 10 seconds, and they're going to be able to clean up whatever remnants are left behind. I would say it's not looking good for LgNLuxury right now. He's down by over 100 food. there's a ton of Hydralisks coming in, and LgNLuxury's only option is to remax with gateway units, which, as I mentioned earlier, gateway units are extremely bad against Hydralisks. This Nexus, of course, is in a terrible position. It's going to get picked off almost immediately by these Hydralisks. He's going to clean up the last two Broodlords, but it's all Hydralisks against Immortal Stalkers, so Hydralisks kill Immortals very quickly, and they also do really well against gateway units. Looks like Goswser's going to go for a little bit of a push here. He seems to have forgotten a bunch of Hydralisks over here, but it doesn't even matter because he's got so many units over on this side of the map. He picks off a pylon. Very exciting, of course. Cannon loses power. He's still maintaining a 100 food advantage. I'm not sure why. Well, I understand LgNLuxury needs Immortals to go against Roaches, but Immortals are no good against with this many Hydralisks on the field. I'm not sure why he's spending money on them. Goswser snipes the Nexus. This is going to put pretty much a finishing blow into LgNLuxury's economy. He's going to move into the main, or the natural, with this large Roach Hydra army. Two Psystorms do go down. They do a lot of damage. They manage to do a lot of softening up on these Hydralisks. Well, I could continue, but the game is unfortunately over. So it looks like Goswser is able to beat LgNLuxury 2-0. So just a quick note, the way that the ESEA scoring works, it's actually not about whether you win the match overall, like whether you win the 4 games, but each individual match that you win gets you a point for league standings. So in this case, Complexity Academy does get a point. You know, in other matches that I've casted, whichever team wins is going to get a point, and regardless of whether you win or lose, you get to keep those points in the standings, and they help determine who wins in the case of a tie. So yeah, Goswser takes this 2-0. Thanks for watching. I'm going to cast the last matchup between No Creativity and Jim Rising, which is going to be a ZVZ. So hopefully I'll have that for you guys in just a little bit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.